What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so I've done a couple of videos about this growing rumor slash narrative that there's a possibility that LeBron James could be traded from the Lakers this offseason, right? Now, I've already put out there that, in my opinion, I think this is a bunch of nonsense. I don't think that it just doesn't seem logical for a team to dump their assets for a 40-year-old player who, at this stage of his career, you can't wrap a championship team around. At best, he's a complementary piece to a really good team. You see what I'm saying? That's at best, that's what you can get from a guy like LeBron. And it doesn't make sense because there's really no other team that could really do that. So that on top of the no trade clause, it just doesn't really make logical sense. I know a lot of you wish that he'd get traded. I'm just telling you what I think rather than what you want to hear, okay? But Laker fans, I think you'll be rid of him eventually, right? Soon. However, an NBA insider thinks that this is closer to reality than what's being reported, okay? Now, you may remember this name because I did a video about this NBA insider, I think it was yesterday, all right? Remember the video I did where it was being reported that Austin Reeves and LeBron didn't like playing with Luka? Well, that was being reported by sports radio host John Gambardella, okay? Now, he reports that the Lakers really want to be rid of LeBron James at this point, and that LeBron wants out of LA, all right? So maybe there is something to this. So he says, quote, I was told this after the playoffs by someone close to LeBron. It said LeBron wants out of LA and they want him gone. He said, watch game one. Look how disinterested LeBron was. Now, most people on here know that my sources are not the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. By that he means his sources are not like, I know a guy that knows this guy that knows the dude that knows the cousin or the guy that's in the front office. He means something. He means his sources are supposedly more concrete, right? Now, I don't find it hard to believe that LeBron probably does in some way want to be somewhere else, because I don't think that he, being a narcissist that he is, I don't think that he really wants to play with Luka, because he's an asshole and a narcissist and he's used to being catered to. He's used to being the top guy, you know what I'm saying? He's not selfless like a Tim Duncan or a Dirk Nowitzki, you know what I'm saying, or Bill Russell, or even a Wilt Chamberlain. You know, Wilt gets all this flack for being selfish, but Wilt gladly altered his game and sacrificed his stats for winning. It's interesting people call Wilt a loser, but if you look at from 1966-67, the year that he finally stopped leading the league in scoring, until the rest of his career, he was always in the NBA Finals or in the conference finals every year. That doesn't get talked about enough. But anyway, this selfish motherfucker, I can see that. And the Lakers are probably sick of him because he's an ungrateful fuck. They dumped their assets to get AD. They listened to LeBron James and altered the championship team, the Mickey Mouse championship team. He screwed that up. They went and got Russell Westbrook because this guy's supposed to be the GM. He screwed that up and then had everybody else to blame except for himself, right? Largely because of the fact that he's so toxic, the Lakers haven't been able to really get anybody to come play with this guy because they know that any high value player is almost always going to be the blame or the scapegoat when things don't go right. So I feel for you, DeAndre Ayton, because you are the new scapegoat. And now they got Luka, a guy that was, before he went to LA at least, was seen as a perennial, well, the best player probably not to have won MVP, right? A guy who, with Kyrie Irving, led the Mavericks to the finals. Now all of a sudden, they got him as the guy being scolded by the media for being out of shape. You see what I'm saying? Even though I've done videos critiquing Luka's weight in the past, and I was told I was a racist. So yeah, I do think on some level they do want to be rid of him, but I just don't think it's feasible. There have already been various reports that no teams really seem to be interested in him. Not even the Cavaliers. They're not interested in him because he's old and washed up and cruddy with a big, huge ball patch in the back of his head. They don't want him. And he's a toxic player. And he's a team obliterator. If anything, this is what I think might happen as far as trades. Now, I could be wrong, and maybe he will be traded. Trust me, I know Laker fans want to be done with him. I'm starting to think that if he's going to be traded, it's going to have to take a series of high-profile and maybe not so high-profile confrontations and public utterances of disgust and contempt for the Lakers to some degree for them to trade him. Like, remember when James Harden was asked point blank right before, I think it was his last game as a Rocket, and he said to the media, I think after the game, I think they lost, he said, we don't have a team that can compete for a championship. Something to that effect. In addition to all the other things he was doing, getting into altercations with teammates, throwing the basketball in the teammate face, showing up to training camp out of shape, et cetera, et cetera. I think it's going to take a series of events for them to possibly trade LeBron James out of frustration. And I think, if anything, he might be traded by the All-Star break. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is something there. Maybe there is something there. Brian Windhorst said that he thinks the door's been open. But we'll have to wait to see. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I still don't think that he's going to go anywhere. But man, can you imagine with this guy's ego if he got traded? And do you know what type of ammo that would give us Jordan fans as far as being him being the GOAT? Goats don't get traded. Oh, Lordy.